Alright, so Ansar Palace Part 1. This is the van buddy portion of what will be a quasi stealth camper teardrop type trailer. We're originally thinking teardrop, but really wanted to maximize interior space, so going with this. Now, the guy wanted to use kind of a high-grade maple plywood for the structure of this. I decided to kind of talk him into exterior grade plywood because I wasn't sure if the maple stuff had the type of lamination in it that would hold up to weather. And of course, this is going to be painted. We've got some, reasonably decent exterior paint, but there's a lot that gets added onto this. And if he raises enough money, we'll put metal siding on. But I think if it's painted, it's not going to be that bad. Normally on teardrop trailers, you're kind of like going one sheet of plywood high. We put a 16-inch extension on here, and then it's the extension that has the curve at the front. The leftover pieces, because I had to purchase, we had to purchase more wood for that. The leftover pieces ended up being cut up to make this back, and this is going to be kind of the elaborate fold-out kitchen area. The doors will have storage compartments in them, and as the interior gets built up, the door will be over here, so that's how somebody gets in and out. Probably put a window here. So the sides on this are structural. They're not really framed. You got to use wood, which is thick enough to be structural. As far as what holds it all parallel and holds the top and the ceiling and everything together, that's the cross beams. And I decided to go with 2x3s instead of 2x2s, but a 2x4 here where we've got this transition going on for the curve part. We've got some metal available to stretch over that, and then of course we'd use really thin plywood, which is flexible to go with that interior. The other side of it is that there's going to be cabinetry in the front section where this curvature is anyway. So the interior area is going to be, a relatively squared corner shape on the interior. So whether or not we have to put roofing material in on that curve isn't really a major harm. But as far as the exterior goes, you got to have a little bit of curve, or you're going to get kind of some bad wind resistance issues. And so that's how that's going to go. The way this works is the reason you leave that little area there is because by the time we do put cabinetry in here, it can end up a little short, so that's where somebody's feet will go. That's kind of the footwell area when somebody's in the bed. And, put a little mattress out there. Now, whether or not there's enough clearance up and down to fit a porta potty or something, I don't know. But I really don't like putting porta potties in campers. If it's avoidable, I avoid it. And this is primarily, I think, going to be kind of an urban setup. So this is something where you go to the gym or the health club or public restrooms or something like that. And basically, for somebody who's technically homeless, or might be afraid of going homeless, it's one of those situations where you could build this in the amount of money it takes to do first, last, and a deposit on, let's say, a low-end apartment or a room rental or something like that. You can get the basic structure built. If you can go all summer living out of this, and the guy who's going to be in here is going to be in it for, the latter part of the summer, early part of the fall, he wants to try and make it through the winter, we'll try and beef it up for that. But the idea is that you own something, and you always have a backup plan, and you're not necessarily going to be in panic mode to just run away with a backpack as soon as you can't pay the rent or something like that. The idea is for something to be an affordable backup plan that can store in a pretty small space when you're not using it, and then when you are using it, has enough interior space and amenities to be usable. Okay, to not fall into some deep bad depression, some suicidal depression, because technically you're homeless or don't have a permanent address. With a micro camper like this will be, then it means you've got an option. And the guy we're building this for The other situation is he's got to develop some hands-on skills for his goal of off-grid living with higher levels of efficiency and comfort than what he's been able to do so far. And a lot of that means you got to get out of the caveman and Indian mode and into saying, hey, you know, we've got to have some benefits of technology and comfort and cleanliness and being able to do things that are going to earn money, which usually means, you know, physically accomplishing things. I mean, you can't produce TV commercials or awareness videos out in the middle of nowhere and expect to make a living out in the middle of nowhere on a regular basis. I mean, 1 out of 100 people maybe, but you got to be able to, you know, pound nails, screw, cut wood, all that kind of stuff. So in developing a project like this, the guy can also develop the skills to make money. And as he makes more money, buys more materials, and makes a more elaborate project. And basically, getting something like this built inside of 2 weeks to a month, even for a person with limited skills, as long as you've got kind of some help and some mentors and some tools available, then it means you're not going to stay homeless unless it's a lifestyle choice. And even if you do, you've got the means to have, you know, some comfort, some morale boosting going on. So this is a project that's been discussed on the other guy's channel as we'll keep making progress on it.